Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. You should have seen me this morning. I should film myself before I go live for a tutorial because I was like getting my project sheet ready and I sent my project sheet to print, and two of my cartridges colors were empty, so I had to refill them. It was really comical, actually. It's always when you're rushing around that like things like that run out. So that would be an interesting movie that I would never get to film because I'd be too busy getting ready for this tutorial, an infinite loop of silliness. But anyway, today I have a very cute box for you. I designed it yesterday, and it's this cute little treat holder box. And I've got some M&Ms in here, and I love M&Ms because they have these cute little guys on them, the little icons for the M&Ms, and so they're very cute to pop in these boxes. But this treat holder box could hold whatever candy you want, and it will hold about 3 packages of M&Ms. So if you wanted to put 1 package of M&Ms and then 2 other treats, or maybe even 3, just depending on how you configure or the size of them. But they're good for Halloween size candy. I'll pop that out at the end. I'll measure the treat for you in case you're in a different country and you want to replace it with a different treat. But the really cool thing about this is I'm using the Scary Cute bundle, is that after you pull out the candy, it turns into a little shadow box because I'm using the stamps in the background to create a little box. So this will be cute to display even once the candy is gone. So it's kind of multi-purpose, and I love how it comes together. And I'm going to share all my little tips on how to make this come together seamlessly for you. So you can skip over to the parts that you need later on when this video isn't live. And I totally understand that, but there are some great little tips, especially on this box closure, how to keep it closed. I think with this type of box closure is one of the biggest questions that I probably would get. So I'm going to answer that for you. Also, on Saturday, I will be sending out a project sheet, which is not quite finished yet, but you get the idea. That's why I send them out on Saturdays and not with my video tutorial, because often there are some changes that I make along the way, and I like to add links to my video and to my blog posts on there, so they get sent out on Saturday. So you need to be on my email list to get this project sheet, and my email list link is down below in the description of this video. You'll probably have to click on see more or show more, depending on where you're viewing this, and you'll be able to sign up for my email list. If you're already on my email list, great, you're going to get it. It's going to come anyway. But if you're not already on, then please go ahead and subscribe if you want to get that project sheet. Also, if you want to know next time you want to join me live, make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. And then also when you subscribe, there's the option to click on the little bell, and that will allow YouTube to send you notifications when I go live. So if you want that, make sure you enable that feature as well. Okay, it's going to take a little while to get through the box because I like to go nice and slowly so that I can show you things from different angles. The project sheet's very helpful for the measurements, but sometimes you just need to see how to put something together so that it looks good. So I'm going to share with you how to do that. So let me switch to my other camera. And let me move over my microphone. Hopefully we'll have good sound. Pop up my project sheet. Okay, so this box is made out of 1 sheet, just a little bit smaller than a sheet of designer series paper. It's not a 2-part box. It opens up here at the top. Okay, and that's where the candy goes in. And then you just close it up like that. So I'll show you how to put that box together. Okay. And then, of course, the candy will go inside. I am going to share with you the bundle. This is the Scary Cute bundle, and the pieces especially that you're going to need for this box if you want to make the shadow box. This is the die that cuts the hole into the box. And then when you use these two pieces together, you can also cut a little frame inset. So you can see how this is a little inset frame in here. So that's what I'll use to cut that. And then I'll use this little banner right here for the top, and it fits all the little greetings. And this is, it is really cute, scary cute. Love at first bite, Halloween happiness, trick or treat, you're so sweet, say boo, and scary on. Just a very, very cute stamp set. When you buy both of these together, you can save 10% over buying them separately. Then I'm using the Black and White Designs paper, and this paper on one side has kind of black and basic gray designs, and then on the other side it's black and white. So it's really versatile paper because you can use it for Halloween or you can use it later on. You don't have to necessarily use it for Halloween, so it makes it a little bit more versatile than your typical Halloween paper. So it's great for this box because I don't want the outside of the box to be too fancy because I want everyone looking at what's inside the box. Okay, let's start off by making the box. I'm using basic gray cardstock, and I'm using a piece of 10 inches by 5.5 inches. You can score on your trimmer, but I prefer to score on my Simply Scored, especially if you're going to make a lot of these. I definitely recommend having a Simply Scored because it will make your life a lot easier. All right. I'm going to start with the long side up at the top, the 10-inch side, and we're going to score at the 3.5 inch mark, the 4 3/4 inch mark, the 8 1/4 inch mark, and the 9.5 inch mark. All right, and then we're going to turn to the short side and score at the 1 1/4 inch mark and the 4 1/4 inch mark. All right. So we have a piece that looks like this. This is the way I scored it. And I'll also have some diagrams in my project sheet so it will help you bring everything together. So that's what it looks like. And now we're going to cut into it. I like to use my trimmer to do this, but you can do the same cuts with scissors. I just line up my score lines that I'm going to cut on my trimmer, and that makes my cuts really straight. So I'm going to lift this up. This is the sidebar. I'm going to show you my diagram. Is what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold this over so you can just focus on the first part of the diagram. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to make some side cuts, these black lines right here, and then we're going to come to the top and make some top cuts. Okay, so I'll do the side cuts first. I'm lining up the score line that I made. This is lifted up. And then I'm going to come over and come to this horizontal score line, put my trimmer blade down and cut out. Then I'm going to lift this up again, bring this over to this score line and cut down. If you are scared that you're going to cut where you don't want to cut, then use scissors. That will be a little easier. But if you want to try this way, I've got this up. I'm lining up this line on, there's a little line on our trimmer blade that kind of allows you to very easily eyeball where you're cutting. I'm going to cut out again, and then I'm lifting this up, bringing the blade over and cutting out. So I could have done these cuts with scissors, You can see how those cut, but they're very straight because they were done on a trimmer. Now we're going to work on this end right here, the one with the score lines that are closer together. And I'm going to come from the top, line this up, and we're going to come down to score intersection. There's a horizontal line here and a horizontal line here. So I'm going to come and I'm going to cut from there out. I'll show you in just one second what that looks like. I shifted. I don't want to shift. Stay in place and cut out. Okay, so we have these ones right here, these side ones that I cut previously, and now I've cut down to the second score intersection right here. Okay, flatten this out again, and I'm going to cut these end rectangles off. This is going to be our tucking in tab at the top of the box, but we don't need these two corner rectangles, so those are going away. So you can cut those off with scissors, or you can line them up on your trimmer again and cut them away. You just need to make sure that you lift this when you're coming to the other side so you don't cut through that end tab, because we need that one still in place. Okay, so now we've got something that looks like this. Or on the diagram, you can see right here. And now I'm going to angle cut some of those pieces on the end. So let's do that. We're going to freehand this time. So I'll take my scissors, and first we're going to work on this end tab. And I'm just going to take this and just cut a little bit on an angle. You can see it's tiny, okay? Just a little tiny bit. I'm going to turn this over and do this again. I can cut better on this side. Okay, so just little tiny pieces, just so you can tuck it in a little easier. And then for the top, these top tabs as well, you can angle cut them a bit. I'm going to angle this just a bit and angle on this side just a bit. This is just going to help the box come together just a tiny bit. I don't want it too loose up at the top, but I just want just a little bit just to help ease the box together. Okay, so that's what those angle cuts. And I don't know, I probably could angle cut these, but I didn't on either one of my boxes. So I'm just going to do them as I did before, leave these two just as they are. They are going to be tucked into the innermost part of the box. I've found that's the way the box looks the best. All right, so actually in my instructions, I told you to run your window through first, which actually makes a little bit of sense, because if you want to do it first, when you're cutting sometimes, and as I showed you, I kind of lifted up the tabs, so they were a little bit lifted up, but I'm going to flatten this piece now, and we're going to run this through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with this die right here. So let me bring that out. You can do it in either before or after. I think in my directions I actually told myself to do it sooner, but it's still flat. So we want to cut the window into the rectangle that is closest to the end tabs. Okay, not this one, but you want it in this one. And I'm just gonna center it, and I've got a little piece of Post-it tape, and I'll just, once I've got that situated, I'll pin it down so it doesn't shift, and I'll run this through. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? just in case, I'm going to run it back because sometimes when I have a piece of cardstock hanging off, not with these plates because they're tapered at the edge, but if you have some of our old plates from a different machine, or if you have a different die cutting machine and they're not tapered, if you go over the edge when your cardstock's hanging off, sometimes it will crimp your cardstock right there. So I'm just going to go reverse back out so that doesn't happen. And I'll just carefully peel this off. And I can use this for another project. That makes a nice little shape for stamping on as well. And there is my window. We're also going to need a frame. I neglected to tell you my sandwich when running this through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, so let me do that now. I'm using the base platform number 1, the thin die adapter number 2, and one of the clear plates, a number 3 plate. Whoops, I just threw my frame on the floor. Okay, so let me put that on there, and then we'll put this on here. So it's easier to move the outer frame when I'm lining things up than the inner frame. And then once that looks good, of course when I touch it, it shifts again. Once it looks good, I'm going to pin this down with a piece of Post-it tape. All right. Sometimes, you know, I get to the point where I'm like trying to be a perfectionist and it's just good enough. All right, put the second clear plate on top and then let's run this through. All right. So we're just creating a little frame. Those out, and that's what it looks like. Okay, you know what we could do while I'm here is I can take this little piece and I'm going to see how this goes. I usually stamp my greeting first and then die cut it, but let's see how it goes if I die cut my shape first for the top of the box and then stamp it. So I'm just going to take a piece of basic white and I'm taking that little banner die and running it through in an attempt not to have to bring out my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again. So there's the little label that I'm going to use up at the top afterwards. Okay, I think I've done all my die cutting, so let me put that away. Okay, so I've got this piece, and we've got this piece here. So I'm going to go on the back side of this piece, and I'm going to put tear and tape all around this window here. And one little tip that will make your life a lot easier is if your tear and tape overhangs onto this window a little bit, I'll show you. If it overhangs, then when we put the frame through on the other side afterwards, it's going to have adhesive to stick to. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So I'm going to bring this in, and literally you can tear this tape. Hope you can see, you can see through my tear and tape right here, and you can see there's just a tiny bit of adhesive hanging over into the window. So when I go to adhere this, that's what it's going to adhere to, so I don't have to use any more adhesive. I'm going to be putting a window sheet on this area. So if I do that for all 4 sides, give myself just a tiny bit of adhesive overhang. And it would be good if you did this on a surface that wasn't maybe paper, but if it's just a tiny bit, you might be okay. It probably won't stick to the paper just because there is a little bit of cardstock. My surface right here is I think it's vinyl, so it will stick for a moment. If you wanted something where it wouldn't stick, maybe use your, what is it called? The little silicone craft sheet. That would be a good surface to work on so that your adhesive doesn't stick to anything paper-like. And you know what? I forgot to grab window sheet. Let me grab that right now. Window sheet is one of those things that's easy to forget because it's see-through. So let's grab, I've got a little piece right here, and I didn't even cut this. So let's do that right now. So you want a piece that is approximately 3 inches by 3.5 inches. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's going to be perfect. Okay, but if you cut it just under that, so it would be 2 15/16. So I'm going to cut it to 2 15/16. So that's just a 1/16 of an inch shorter. Then it's going to fit just a little bit better. So use 3 inches by 3.5 inches as your base measurement, and then just go a little bit below that, just 1 tick. Or if that's hard for you to do 1/8 of an inch less. That will work as well. But yeah, I think 1/16 is good, because if you go 1/8, then you're going to have too much sticking out. So I've got that little piece. I will adhere that in a second. I want to do some stamping first, and I also forgot a piece of basic white. Let's grab that. The little pieces of the box that are forgotten because they're tucked inside. So I'm going to do the same thing for this piece. It's the same measurements. So I'm going to do 3 inches, but actually I'm going to go just 1/16 less. And then I'm going to do 3.5, and then I'm just going to pull back. That's the 3.5 inch mark. Just go 1 tick less, and that will be 1/16 less, and that will allow my piece to fit in so much nicer. We're going to stamp this back piece right here. That's going to be showing when we do the shadow box. So let's just stick this aside for just a second. And this time I'm going to do these 3 little trick-or-treaters instead of the other 2 that I've already done. So I'm going to grab 2 ink pads. And what I found when I was stamping this shadow box, I want to stamp it about the little trick-or-treaters about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom of this piece. I have the 3-inch side facing me. And I'm going to use Night of Navy ink because it's dark enough to look like black, and it stamps better than Tuxedo Black. So I'm going to center this one. If you were doing one of the other ones, then what I would do, just giving it a little bit of contact because it's a bold stamp. All right. If you find that you're having trouble getting good coverage, I would put this in the Stamparatus, and then you have the ability to go back on the same spot and stamp again. If you're going to do one of the other characters, I just kind of put my frame here and see, oh, okay, I need to be over about this much. But because all 3 are coming across, I'm just going to center it. But still, this is going to be up like this, but when you look into the box, you're generally looking down just a little bit. So that's why I want to have this closer to the bottom. It just looks better when you're finished. So you can test that out if you want to while you're making the box, but I'll just pull this out. So you can see this one, it is like 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, not actually centered in this frame. It would be stamped a little higher if I did that. Okay, and then I want to have some bats, and I'm going to use Daffodil Delight for the little moon. So I'm going to add the little moon over here, about there, and I'm going to add some bats. And the top of the box is going to be the branches. So I'm stamping everything close to the bottom. It looks weird, but trust me, that's what you want to do. Okay. So before I forget, I've got my little pieces out here, and I want to add this window sheet, and then I'm going to adhere this right over here. So let's do this first. And you want to adhere it the correct direction. This is the bottom of the box. I'll lift up these tabs so you can just see. This is the bottom, and this is the top. So you want to have your little scene facing the bottom of the box. Just get that. And if you cut it 1/16 less, then it should fit nicely right between those two score lines. Okay. And then we're going to take this, remove the liner. I have no fingernails right now. Yes, you will not get beautiful fingernails on this channel. Sorry guys, don't want to spend time on that at all. Okay, window sheet goes right in between the score lines, and then just press down. Okay, so that's what the inside of the box will look like. And then we're going to flip this over, and you can see, maybe you can just see just barely on those edges, you can see that that frame is going to fit in nicely. And so I don't get adhesive on that frame at all. I can just take that. Remember, this is the bottom of the box right here. So make sure this is up at the top. This is the top of the box. So just make sure you're adhering this in the correct direction, and you're just going to piece this back in here, and you've got that adhesive on the edge, so you don't have to mess with another adhesive to put that in, because it's already just sticking out for you conveniently. Yay! All right, I think we're ready to put this box in, and I want to show you, I've got some diagrams for you to put things together, and that diagram just reminded me of one other thing I can do before I put this box together. We're going to work on this side. This is going to be the front of the box, and I've cut some of that black and white designer series paper, and I'm just going to piece these pieces around here like that, and that's going to be my sides. It's going to add a little bit of something, and I'll show you, I've used 3 different patterns to create the sides of the boxes. So you'll be able to see in a moment that there are different patterns that you can use. I wanted to use all the different, as many different patterns as possible to show you. So I'm just going to take this and adhere it to the sides right here. And just as a little note, I'm going to try and there's the little indent of the score line. I'm trying to put it just on the outside of that, because otherwise you're going to have a little bit of an overhang when it bends. So if you don't like to do this while it's flat, you could also do it afterwards when it's assembled. It's not hard to add these designer series pieces afterwards. So if you forget, like I almost did, don't worry, you can always add them afterwards. And if you forget this inside piece too, you could probably put that in afterwards too. It's just easier to adhere it while it's flat. The window sheet, I would definitely recommend making sure you got that in place beforehand, because that one would be a bit of a harder one to secure after the fact. Okay. All right. All right, it's box assembly time. So we want to fold this piece along all the score lines. So this window piece right here, it's easier if you keep that flat and then bend up, because the frame can be a little wonky. Maybe now that it has the window sheet, it will be okay. And I just see a little thing that we can do to make this come together. I noticed that there's a little bit of overhang from my paper, so if you cut it just a little shorter, it might be better. But you can also trim off if you have any overhang, like I do here too. Just trim it off. And what I'm going to do, fold that. That's going to be better. There's always better ways to do things. You just need to explore. Okay. All right. So that's folded. And now I'm going to come in and fold this way. Use my bone folder. Just move down. Fold up this way. So I did these boxes, folded them together different ways, and I found the way it looks the best is if these little tabs are on the inside. I did try it also sandwiched in between. This one did not fold yet. I did try it sandwiching it in between, but for the finishing box look, if you have these little guys on the inside, it looks just a little bit better. So I'm going to adhere those ones first. I'll just put Tombow on these two. And then I'll take them and adhere them to the back first. Just kind of give them a little squeeze. I'm just making sure it's all the way to that back corner score line. So that's what it looks like, and you can kind of see, let me hit the light, you can see it just comes up partially. You will not see that line, especially if you're using dark cardstock like I am. This is basic gray, so you will not see that line at all. Or sandwich it in between these two pieces. Just for the finished look of the box, it looks just a little bit better if it's on the inside. So I'm going to now put adhesive on these two long tabs here. We're not putting any adhesive on this. This is going to be the top, none of that, but just these two outer segments, and then we're going to bring this together. Did not fold that either. It will get folded now. All right. Bring this together. Just lining it up, pressing it together, and then push this back so you can see it. Pressing it together, and then you can put it on its side. Take your bone folder and just give it a little push while it's on its side. just to make sure it's really coming together. Okay. Oh, it looks so cute. Okay, so these tabs come in and then this tucks in. So my box is actually holding together pretty nicely right now, but sometimes you'll find with these boxes, depending on how you cut things, and it's really weird how sometimes it will fold flat and sometimes it won't. So I just want to, oh, see, it's popping up a little bit. So you might notice over time they wants to pop up. So here's a little tip for this top closure that I want to show you. So right along this score line right here, if you cut in about 3/8 of an inch to about 1/2 of an inch, right along that score line, you see that? Just by about that much. Do that on both sides. 3/8 to about 1/2 an inch. Okay. And what you want to do is you're going to just slightly, with your fingers, just slightly bend this back. Can you see? Just a little bit like that. Just slightly bend it back and do that on both sides. Just a tiny, tiny bit. Okay, so what's going to happen when you tuck it into this box now, these little tabs are going to catch on these other little tabs. They just tuck in, and there's just a little bit of a catch right there. And you'll notice this if you go to your kitchen, you might find a box. I went to look last night because I knew there was a little trick. But if you look at the boxes in your kitchen and if it has like a closure like this, have a look and you'll probably see that it's got these little cuts right there. And that's what they do really. And you can make the cuts, but if you bend them just a little bit like I did, that's what's going to catch on these tabs. That's what it does. And then it's going to help your box stay closed and it won't pop open. And if you have one that's really, giving you trouble, bend it just a little bit more. And that's also why I didn't want you to angle cut those tabs too much. We wanted to angle cut. If you want to look back at these ones, I angle cut them a bit, but not too much. Because if you angle cut them too much, then they won't have anything to catch onto at the ends here. So, all right, that is my tip of the day for putting those together. So you've got this little box now. Isn't that cute? And I'm going to pull out, I'm going to just show you. Oh, I better do my greeting too. Okay, I've got this one and I've got this one. So I did one with the little princess. She's got a crown. I did it with a little Frankenstein and then the one with the little 3. And I think I'm missing 2 other images that you could also use. But those are the different shadow box images. And then for the sides, I did different paper just so you could see. And then for the top, I haven't finished the top of this one. I've got my little banner here and I've done 2 different greetings. Let's do on this one, let's do Halloween happiness on this one. That's probably the most generic one that I could choose. And grab, again, I'm using Night of Navy. My son, he was watching me the other day. I said, what color is this? And he said, it's blue. And I'm like, how can you see that? He has really good eyes. But if you look, it looks black to me, right? It's a very, very deep blue. So I actually like to work with it better than, I'm just looking to make sure I have this somewhat centered. All right, fingers crossed that this is not crooked. Oh, that's pretty good. So, okay, so the first 2 banners I actually stamped and then die cut. And this one you can probably do it the other way around too. I did trim my stamps a little bit. I did do that, so that helps just a little bit. And then I'm just going to adhere this to the top with a little glue. You can also use a dimensional if you prefer. And then just center this on top. I'm going to open this so I can press more easily. And then I'm also going to add a little bow. This is from the Essentials Baker Twine pack. And I'll just add a little dot of adhesive of glue. You can also use a mini glue dot, but I just prefer to use Tombow. Let me open this up again. Okay, now I can pinch that knot down. It does require holding it onto the surface for a few seconds to get good adhesion, but I really do think that Tombow holds better for baker's twine than mini glue dots do, so that's why I prefer it. Look, isn't that cute? Halloween happiness. And really, like, these little guys do look happy. Got some bats flying in the background. It's so cute. Ah, I love it. Okay, so let's have a look at these. I've got some M&Ms here. And you can easily put 3 bags of M&Ms in here. Let me just measure this for you. So these, we know this is 3 inches by 3.5, but these little bags, they can be squished a little bit on the side. So they are actually about 3 3/8 by about 2 3/4 inches. So, you know, when you put these in, I love these little guys. I don't know, I'm pretty sure they all come with these little scenes. These are some that I still had on hand. And so I'm gonna see, there's room still inside that. Let me grab some other Halloween candy I have on hand. I did go to the store, but you know, sometimes when you go to the store, my store already had Halloween candy. So yay for Star Market that puts out the Halloween candy early for me. But I didn't use any of them. But look, you can add a couple more. See? And you still have room for the M&Ms. And then you've got your little picture inside here. And we can do up the other boxes too, just so you can see. All of these M&M candies have different pictures. This year, Reese's has, I don't know if they had these last year because I picked them up, has bats and ghosts. So, yeah, I tried to use them yesterday, but I thought the M&M's pictures looked so cute. So let's add that to the back. And let's do one more so you can see all the different pictures. There's actually more pictures for the M&M ones, and they probably even change them and don't keep them the same. But yeah, so easily like 3 pieces of Halloween candy will fit inside of here. So aren't those cute? They're so cute. I just love that M&M's does these little characters on there. And then the cool thing is you open it up and you've got your little shadow box. Where's the one I did today? You open it up. You eat all the candy because you got to do that. Or you give it away because you can't eat the candy. And then you've got your little shadow box. And it's just really sweet. So, and then it says Halloween happiness. So cute. I love it. All right. Okay, I am coming back over to you guys. I'm back. What did you think? I hope you liked that project with Scary Cute. As soon as I saw Scary Cute had a frame, I knew I was going to do a box. I just, yeah, that was on my radar right away. I'm like, yeah, making a box with that. So we're still during celebration. I wanted to bring you some Halloween projects now because we're midway through August. And if you want to make things, you probably don't want to make them at the last moment. Also, sometimes Stampin' Up! Will sell out of certain products. And since the Halloween is upon us, if they sell out of the Scary Cute bundle, there might still be time to bring it in before October. But if I don't show you this project now, then we're really limiting the time. So I wanted to show it to you now. So if you want Halloween projects, you have time to order this and get it in plenty of time to make up for Halloween. I know people that will make 300 of one of my designs to hand out at nursing homes, at senior centers. So I know you guys need time if you're going to do that. So I wanted to make sure that I gave you a little time. Next week, I will have another Halloween project. So using a different bundle, I'll be using that witch's hat bundle. So you'll see another one. But I really love this one. And that's why I'm showing it to you first, because I thought this is just so adorable. Okay. We're still during celebration. So right now you can still earn a free product when you purchase 50 increments of $50 or $100 with Stampin' Up! This special ends at the end of August. Also, if you order with me using this host code here, you will get a package of these jewels right here. They are called the Fine Sparkle Adhesive Back Gems, and you will get a full package. I have used some of my package already. You'll get a full package of these as a gift, and I will send those out in September. Yes, please use the host code. Even if your order is below 50, as long as your order is over $15, you'll also get to choose one of my free with purchase tutorials. So please go ahead and use that code if you're ordering from me in the month of August. If your order is over $150 though, please take the host code off. I would love for you to get the Stampin' Rewards. So I don't want you to use the host code if you're placing such a large order. Okay, I'm going to read your comments and I'm going to check in with all of you guys and see if you have any questions for me. Good morning, Verblue and Alita and Marty and Dee. Good morning, Christine and Amy. You guys are all having hot days. It's going to be hot here too. Good morning, Ray. It's nice to see you. Good morning, Cindy. Oh yeah, you could make this for other holidays as well. You know, trees, these are tree branches. So this could be also used for a fall holiday. So you could use this frame. I would probably use some fall colors then to kind of designate it as an autumn themed thing. And then you could put something inside here. Maybe it's stamped leaves overlapping or something like that. And these are the bare branches of the trees. Maybe I would do this frame and maybe early espresso then, and then just do really colorful leaves on the background. I think that would look really pretty. I don't know, experimenting with the different colors, but this frame is really useful for other things as well. That's really cool. And you could also, I'm just trying to think, you could also leave out the branches and just do the outer frame. If you were doing that, then just remember to make sure you shift your adhesive so there's nothing sticking out, because if you're not putting this frame in here, you know what you could also do? I just thought of this. I have a frame here somewhere. I had one. Oh, yes. Okay, I just had like a notion or whatever. Let me switch over here. Okay, so you've got this frame here. say you wanted this inner frame without the branches, you could snip off and just come around here and snip away the little branches, right? If you wanted to just create like a little inner frame. Just thought of that. Okay. Now I've got little branch detritus, but you get the idea. So here is a frame that you can use as an inner frame without the branches. Of course, the branches wouldn't be here. But like if you were making one for a birthday and you wanted more room and you didn't want the branches and you wanted this little frame inset, you could cut away the branches. So that's just a little idea to get that inner part if you wanted to do something different with it. All right, that was just a cool thought. Thank you for Ray for getting me on that frame of thought. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Volchfam. Sometimes when people use user names on YouTube, I don't know how to pronounce that, but good morning. Good morning, Marty. Marty says, I've seen those cuts. Now I know what they're for. And I'm sure you're referring to how the box comes together with those little cuts. It is just a way to hold the box together better. And we can do that too. You know, the neat thing about the boxes in your kitchen or whatever is you can take a look at them and see how they're coming together. Boxes coming from manufacturers have the advantage of they're going to be cut by a machine and they're going to be able to do all of those cuts automatically. But a lot of things we can do just with scissors or a trimmer ourselves. So we can often get the same effect that they do. Karen says, I had some great tips today and my box is just too cute. Aw, thank you. Marty says the ink reads black, but I can also see the color difference in person. Yeah, I think my eyes are not 100% like I've worn glasses, not since I was a child, but since I was in my late teens, I've always worn glasses. So my eyes I got my daddy's eyes. My daddy's eyes, he had later on in life, he had macular degenerative, and I have to be really, really careful. I'm super careful with my eyes. I wear sunglasses when I'm outside, and I'm taking an eye vitamin just to cover all my bases. I want to keep my eyes healthy as long as possible because I know that I do have a strike against me when it comes to that. Like they can see I have early mac degenerative disease, but it hasn't changed in the past couple of years. So it's like really, really early. So I'm like, yeah, no, eye vitamins are for me and I'm going to take care of my eyes. But it also means I think that sometimes, colors and stuff. I know it's native navy, but it looks black to me. So that's interesting. Patty asked, how much do you trim the stamps? All right, I'm going to show you because I think I have some stamps in here that I haven't trimmed yet. Let's just pop over here. All right, let's see. Okay, here's one I haven't trimmed yet. So I'm going to grab my... These used to not be die cut at all, and we would have to trim them off of the rubber ourselves. So let me see if I can get close to the camera and show you what I do. So these are short bladed Kai scissors. The blade is about 1.5 inches. It's good to have kind of robust scissors. These are harder to trim with. These have just a bit of a thicker blade. So I'll just chomp down, and I do about like that. So I go close, but I don't go right on. And I kind of do chomps and very straight cuts, and I'll come in like that. I kind of lean the outer part of my scissor against the stamp, the part of the stamp. I just kind of lean it, and then I'll pull that off. And this is how I trim my stamps. So if you put your stickers on, you can do this after you put the stickers on, or you can do it if you, I don't put the stickers on most of mine. If you put them on, if you want to put these on afterwards, trim it up, and then when you're putting it down on the sticker, you're going to just center it in the sticker portion, and then you'll have to trim off some of the sticker. But I do like to go in a little bit like this, and it's a little bit, I do this so because if you notice you're catching an edge, if you're not catching edges, then you don't need to do this. But if you start to catch edges of your ink pad and you have this line that you're inking, so that's about what I do. And if you kind of lean your blade against the stamp edge before you come down, that's about as close as I do. And I don't always do this, but if I know I'm going to be catching an edge, or if I ever do stamp and catch an edge, I immediately stop and I trim my stamps. So there you go. That is how I trim a stamp. I kind of trim as I go. So if I'm not going to use that stamp, I didn't trim it because I didn't want to waste time. So I'm glad I still had a stamp to trim for you. Okay, I hope that helps. Let's see. Okay. Marty says, Marty also said that she wishes there was a black pad. We do have our tuxedo black pad, and I'll tell you, it does work well if you use it in the Stamparatus. I love our tuxedo black. It is like a really beautiful, true black ink. We did have trouble with our Stampin' Up! Branded black ink, and that's why we don't have one. The formulation was either it wasn't waterproof, and it was meant to be. So in the end, they just decided to just stick with Memento Tuxedo Black. If you want to use Tuxedo Black, pop your stamp into the Stamparatus, and then you can stamp it more than once. The difference between our colored ink pads and the Memento pad is the Memento has a linen top. So sometimes if you're not careful, or if I usually kind of sit on top of my ink pad and just twist it just a little bit, and that tends to erase those linen lines a little bit. Or if your pad isn't inky enough, then it can also not stamp that clear, true image that you want. So it's just a little bit harder to work with. So that's why I like the easy button with the Night of Navy ink pad, because it does give you a nice clean stamping. Sometimes you might also need to put it in the Stamparatus. There were a couple of times I needed to re-ink mine because I had done a whole bunch of Scotties on my Native Navy ink pad, and so I was getting some inconsistent results, so I just re-inked my pad, and then it was better, and I got the crisp image again. So sometimes it just means you need to re-ink your pad, and if you don't have a re-inker, use your Stamparatus or buy a ink refill for the future. All right, let's see. Marty says, I don't get very many trick-or-treaters, so these boxes would be perfect for me. I like to give the kids a bunch of different candies. Yeah, that's fun. And often, like, we have like friends, or maybe we're part of an organization, and it's just fun to give out a little treats for adults too, because I think sometimes we're very serious as adults, and this is a way to be playful and fun. And, I love that the box has a little surprise once they open it, and they've got the little shadow box on the inside. So that's just really fun. Hello, Cynthia. I'm glad you joined us today. Hello, Tina. Marty says, I catch edges all the time. That's when you're stamping the image. Trimming makes a big difference for me. Yeah, it truly does. And because I've been stamping so long, that's what we used to do. We used to have to trim. We didn't have any die cutting, so we had to actually trim our stamps. So I got very used to trimming them over the years. And I think over the years, I have never, ever damaged a rubber stamp. But I'm also super detail oriented. So using short, straight cuts is the way to go. All right. Patty asked, do I have a link for the scissors you trim the stamp with? We don't sell those scissors anymore, Patty, but I can pull up a link for you. I'll put it in the YouTube video down below all the supplies. And I think I've pulled it once before for someone else. So I'll see if I can find that link for you and put it down. It will be after my Stampin' Up! Supply list. It will be underneath that. And I'll find it on Amazon, which is available in most countries. Whoa! They are dropping off. The house next to us is perennially under construction. The people that bought it, they bought it right before we moved here. And they tore it down, and it has been in construction mode ever since. Like in one state or another, there was a house there, then they tore it down. It was an empty lot. Then they poured the foundation, tore out the foundation, put a new foundation in. And that house has been under construction for such a long time. And today, I think they're dropping off supplies and there's big booms. I will be surprised if that house ever gets built while I am living here, because it's Zen. I need to meditate, block out the noises, right? Okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoy the box. I hope you see the potential of using Scary Cute for other things as well. It's got a really sweet little frame, and I know you're going to love this box and the way it comes together. Have a great day and watch for my project sheet on Saturday. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.